What is the first word in FOMO, class? Fear. And what do we know about fear, class? It is not from or of God. Now listen, I'm not even sure what I thought I was missing out on or why I feared it so much. But let's be 100. Why am I posting my Monday episode on a Tuesday? Well, class, y'all are witnessing firsthand what happens when you let FOMO run the show. When you set priorities but don't build the boundaries to protect them. And look, on this journey of becoming, life is going to happen, but these goals, they're not about to accomplish themselves. Now, I could have struggle bust my way through and forced this out last night, but baby, I am a lady. And I already told y'all, this new soft life in Christ, she is ready to thrive. So I said, they gonna get this episode tomorrow. And y'all, I love you for sticking beside me. Now let's get into it.
Hey love, welcome back to Don't Hit Snooze, the podcast. It's your girl, Cheddar Like Money, back with another episode. And today, I really don't even know what we talked about, to be honest. But a lot of things that I've learned over the course of doing these 2 episodes per week is just about momentum, keeping that momentum so that you can continue forward with whatever it is that you're planning to do, even if you didn't necessarily plan it well, as opposed to waiting, trying to continue to plan it out and never actually implementing the plan or never actually executing on the plan or executing on anything. Just taking action. So one of the main things that I thought about was this idea around setting boundaries, because in order for me to properly do this podcast, I have to set more boundaries for myself and my time. And I haven't done an amazing job at that, but I also have been trying to slowly but surely figure out like what are the things that are important to me right now and what are the things that can possibly wait. And one of the things that I really wanted to see if it would make a difference is putting effort into my relationships. So I have been doing that still, but in essence, in putting time and effort into relationships, I slowly take away time from being able to commit to the podcast, to being able to record and edit in a timely fashion. So I'm actually recording this on a day where I have so much going on that I didn't necessarily need to wait to this day, but I chose to build my relationships. I chose to do other things. And by the time the moment came where I could potentially record, I just didn't have the energy to do it. And lo and behold, you know, I had my baby and all these other things, and you just get to a place where essentially you just have to decide like, okay, I'm either going to do it or I'm not. However, if I had just created a specific boundary for myself and said, I'm not going to do X, Y, or Z unless I do A, B, and C first, and then if I never get to X, Y, and Z because I'm still doing A, B, and C, at least I've gotten A, B, and C done. So follow me here. One of the things that I know for sure that I was successful at creating a boundary this weekend was telling my friend that I wasn't going to go to after Alvin Ailey. His friend was having a cipher or something at her house, and I wanted to go, but I was like, you know what? I need to get some rest. I mean, I got other stuff that I need to do in the morning, and I know I'm not going to have the energy to be able to commit to those things if I stay. And the next day, I was supposed to be doing other things for the pod, but I ended up going to breakfast and just running around, and I did a whole bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with the podcast, but I was learning so much stuff. And I say that to say that you can learn wherever you go if you really pay attention. If you pay attention to the people around you, if you pay attention to what people are saying to you, and what people are doing. So in the midst of creating a boundary, really understand like what you're losing. And the reason that I believe it's so hard for us to maintain or set a boundary is because of these past things that have come about that don't really make sense for our lives now, or even personal traumas, people people pleasing, all these things. We don't want to say no to people, and it can be hard, especially when you are a known people pleaser, when you have in the past only said yes to things, no matter what that meant for you. But I told myself recently, and even the last couple of weeks, not like months or years, but in the last couple of weeks, that I matter. My vision is important. And in order for me to build what I'm building and to create a legacy and to, again, build momentum, I have to focus on what I am doing. I can't worry about how other people feel about how I'm showing up or lack thereof, or whatever their take is or perspective is on what I've decided is going to be a clear boundary for me. And it's not to say that you can't live your life, but again, if I had said, okay, before I do X, Y, and Z, I need to do A, B, and C, then that would have no bearing on the other people, because I would have already made the decision. But because I didn't make the decision prior to say that I need to have these things done, then I couldn't say, oh, well, I chose to hang out with you and that's why I didn't get this done. What does that have to do with them? So make a decision and don't be afraid. Don't bring all of the negative emotions that you have around the word no into the present time, because you have to do things that are important for you, to you, and for your legacy. That's what this entire podcast really is about. Like, becoming who you are requires breaking off from things that you no longer need to be attached to. And it can feel uncomfortable. And another thing is, healthy boundaries are important. If we say that Jesus had to go get rest, he had to take respite from people, it can be a lot. Just everyday life can be a lot. And you have to retreat. You have to take respite. You have to rest. And you have to understand that in creating a boundary, that means that at some point you're going to have to say no to something else. Saying yes to one thing means saying no to something else, and that is completely okay. You just have to be okay with it in your heart of hearts. And even if you're not, honestly, if you still have that feeling, you have to go with it. Feel it and do it anyway. Feel the guilt and say no anyway. Feel the guilt and choose yourself anyway. Because at the end of the day, you're spending time, you're spending resources, money, energy that you don't have now to get to the thing that you want to be building, the person that you want to be building, which is you. The career that you want to be building, the book that you want to be writing, the podcast you want to be starting, the YouTube that you want to be creating, the videos you want to be editing, all the things that you are wanting to do, you're saying no to because you're saying yes to something that you actually don't want to do, or that you're going to feel guilty about saying no to, so you choose to do it anyway. That's not fair to you or your future self, your future children, your future husband, because the more that you do that, going back to momentum, it can create a negative momentum or a positive one. You want to be building positive momentum toward your goals. You don't want to be building negative momentum away from the things that you said that you were going to do. Because yet again, we are here in 2025 with goals from all the way back from 2015, 2020. Things that you said you were going to do 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You're trying to get it done, but then you keep allowing yourself to be steered away from what it is that you're setting out to do in the first place because you're afraid to say no. How unfair it is to you. So think about it that way. Every time that you say yes to something that is not steering you toward your goals, you're saying no to your goals. Every time you choose to say yes to that, you're saying no to this. So which one is more important? And you have to decide that. And it's easier to decide that prior to. So really sit down with yourself and look at your goals again. But also, as you look at your goals, you should look at your goals every single day. So that's why it's important to have them on paper. And I'm saying this, I'm talking to myself because I really need to get into the habit of looking at my goals every single day. Look at your goals every day. And then when things come up, you can decide right then Or you can plan, hey, we got something going on April 1st, we got something going on, May 17th. Okay, let me look at my calendar. Let me look at my goals. Based on this, and when I need to implement, when I need to actually execute, that's not going to work for me because May 17th, I'm actually going to be recording. April 1st, I'm actually going to be editing. May 1st, I'm going to be out of town on a retreat for myself so I can get some writing done. You get what I'm saying? I have a couple notes here, and I don't want to miss everything, but also I do need to get out of here, so it's just going to have to be what's going to have to be. You understand what I'm saying? But just know that boundaries protect your purpose and your peace. And that's all that matters here. Build momentum in a positive way toward your goals. And don't be afraid to say no. Because every time that you say no to something else, you're saying yes to yourself. And we need you. Your team needs you. Your audience needs you. The people who are waiting for you to do what it is that you're supposed to be doing need you. But you can't show up for them if you're never showing up for you. So create them boundaries. What we doing? We keep creating them and maintaining them. So we can continue to show up as our best selves and protect our own peace and stop worrying about what everybody else got to say about it. I came real natural, real unedited, real unfiltered and raw, and literally I got to go. So I appreciate you guys for constantly listening, watching. Thank you so much for my new subscribers on YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube, thank you. If you've been listening from the many different platforms that you can listen to this from, be that Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones. I don't mean to say it like that, but it's a lot of them. Wherever you're listening from, wherever you're watching from, I truly appreciate you. And I'm going to talk to you in the next one. I love you with the love of Jesus, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And you better set that boundary, boo. And you doing it for who? You. Oh yeah. I had this in my hand because I wanted to read it. So y'all know about the new era cards that I pull, and I want to pull one for today just so you guys can have some type of journal prompt or something that you can think about until the next time that we talk. And again, this is Mental Maintenance Mondays, and it says mindset clarity. Take a moment to clear your mind and think about how your thoughts can shape your life. Imagine the person you want to be and align your thinking with that vision. It's okay to pretend to be that person at first. This helps you start becoming who you want to be. Over time, things will start to fall into place. That's so good. And then on the back, it says letter to self. So you can write yourself a letter and work through who this person is, how do they show up. And one of the things that I wanted to do with a group of students that I was planning to talk to, but I didn't get a chance to talk to them for career day, is walk through a vision, almost like vision planning with them, but kind of like what you would do for a vision board. But see the person that you want to be and really write down, like, who is she? Does she work out? Does she wake up with the sun, or does she rise before the sun? Does she use the dishwasher, or does she wash dishes by hand? Like, whatever it is she classy? Is she funny? Is she whoever you want to be? If you're not her yet, that's fine. What does this card say? It's okay to pretend to be that person at first, and eventually it's going to align. The gap between who you are now and who you want to be will shrink, and you'll start to see that version of her show up even more. So yeah, I think this is perfectly in alignment with those boundaries. See who you want to be and then be her. Again, I'm going to talk to you in the next one. Love you so much. Talk to you.
And that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're walking away feeling empowered, encouraged, and ready to level up. Even if it's just one small step at a time, because that's what counts. 1% greater every day. And remember, this journey is about doing it for God, for your legacy, and for you. And we're in this together. So whether you're a mom in the thick of it or a woman on the come up, just know that you've got community here. Don't hit snooze on your greatness. Don't hit snooze on you. And definitely don't hit snooze on God. Let's keep pushing, keep praying, keep growing. And I'll see you in the next one.